Welcome to Coffee with Spirit, the podcast where we delve into the mystical world of spirit babies, mediumship, and energy healing. Join me as I share stories and lessons from the spirit realm with a bit of New York realness to enlighten and inspire you on your spiritual journey. I'm your host, Nancy Weiss, psychic medium energy healer. Grab your cup for a quick chat, and I'll see you there. Hey there and welcome. I am so happy that you're here today for this truly special episode on the podcast. Do babies grow up on the other side after miscarriage, termination? You may be someone that is probably experienced this before, and it is a really difficult, emotional, traumatic experience when this happens. I've been through it myself, once when I was 21, and then once again when I was going through IVF with my husband. And regardless, I think one of the things, regardless of the point that it happens, if it's really early on, you just had that pregnancy test, or you've been pregnant for a while, it still really shocks you to your core. It's still really such a traumatic experience. And there's so many questions that come along with it. And I think one of the main ones is like, is there something wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why isn't it working? And we really beat ourselves up about it. It's like, we don't have the answers, right? We don't have all the answers for everything. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we have these medical reasons and things like that. But a lot of times there are no true answers. But we still have that heartache and we still question, what is happening to them? What has happened to them? Are they mad at me? Are they upset? Did I do something wrong? And I wanted to take this episode today and talk a little bit about my experience with these souls on the other side and how and what happens after we have that pregnancy loss or we choose to terminate a pregnancy. And I want to kind of like take away the stigma about that, because I feel like there is a lot more, secretiveness about that, and maybe even more guilt. And so I wanted to talk about that today. So I asked my viewers some questions of what they wanted to know. So I wanted to go ahead and kind of answer them, because I feel like that's going to answer a lot of questions. And this is, again, my take. This is my take on what I've experienced in all my spirit baby sessions and the connection that I've had over the years with them. And so one of the first questions is, do they grow up on the other side? And I've seen multiple variations of this, and I have a few examples. So I have seen miscarried babies come through as that soul, like as that early pregnancy or later term pregnancy, whether it was 8 months in the womb or whether it was 6 weeks. And they'll all show themselves differently. But I've also seen them grow up on the other side. So some babies will show themselves to their parents, their mother, exactly the way they were, kind of like as that little spirit, that little sweet soul, that little beam of light that is there, and they'll show themselves that way to the mom or to me. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Soul, but that's an incredible movie to watch just to kind of gauge or kind of picture how spirit babies are like coming in and going out into the world. I think that's an amazing thing to watch if you haven't seen it. But it kind of feels like that with these babies just kind of like flitting in and out of this earth plane on their mission. And they really do have this particular mission to complete with specific parents, specific siblings, and specific times. Now, back to growing up again, one of the recent mediumship sessions I did with someone from a private group, she had this baby come in, not as a baby. This soul showed herself as a 30-year-old mom She literally, this was like one of the best things I've seen. She literally was like, I'm on the other side. I'm in this next life. I'm 30 years old, 31. I remember the client did the calculation and we had the dates were correct of how old she would be. And she's just like, I'm a tired mom. Like, she has a mom bun. She's dressed in like, she's got like an old t-shirt and leggings on. And she is just she's living this next life, which was so poignant and so incredible to see and experience and have that interaction with her, because I hadn't really seen that before. And abilities and things and the messages are always evolving and always unique to each individual person. So in this case, she lost her baby in early pregnancy 30 years ago, and here she is living this other life as a mom. And then there's other times where I'll see that baby is with a family member that has passed, and they'll either show themselves like cradling the baby, like this baby is showing themselves on the other side as this infant, even though they may not have even passed it as an infant, but as during the middle of pregnancy, and show themselves with their family, with loved ones, with your loved ones. So to see that, and I think, it's such a vast thing, the spirit realm, and there's things that we can tap into and know, and, that we speculate. But we see that, and I see that they show themselves the way they need to show themselves to you, in a way to give you comfort, in a way to know that they're okay. Another question that comes up is, why did this happen? Why was there a miscarriage? You were so wanted, you were loved, and now you're gone. And this really comes down to soul contracts and timing and divine timing, and when they really want to really make the move. And I think some of them are like, listen, I'm going to try this, see what it feels like to experience this growing, this human body, and see like, okay, you know what? I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm going back to the spirit realm to kind of ask some questions, do some things, make sure that this is what I want to do. And then they will try again, or they may choose another set of parents or another set of siblings that they feel is going to give them the most and best lessons for their soul evolution in their life. Because that's what it really all comes down to. Even us sitting here, we have chosen this particular lifetime, these particular parents, this set of circumstances, and all the things that we experience and go through are so calculated for us, before we make the choice to come here. So sometimes they want to experience that body. Sometimes they are not sure. Sometimes I think it's also part of the woman's experience in preparing her for this pregnancy. So there's the timing. There's like, are they ready to come in during the winter time? Do they want to be an Aquarius? Is this the right time? Do they need to come in before or after another sibling? And so I also see that there's also timing on the other side when it comes to siblings, in saying like, you know what, I thought I was going to be first. I wanted to be first. However, my sister needs to come in first, or my brother needs to come in first before me. And there's this whole thing, like there's these, I consider like a meeting on this other side, this soul meeting of deciding, okay, you know what? This is not the right time for me. This is not the time for me to be a big brother. I don't want to be the big brother. I want to be the little brother this time. You know what I mean? And so there's all these different kind of things going on and how they choose to come through. And I do want to talk about termination, because this holds a lot of guilt, and I want to try to ease and comfort the woman that's listening to this today. If that's, your situation, this was also a plan. this was also a decision that the two of you have made prior to any of this consciousness, this realization that you've made, that this was not the time, that this was not the time for the both of you to do this. And if this gives you any comfort, I want to let you know that anytime I've experienced a terminated soul, let's say a terminated spirit on the other side, an elective termination, right? There are no angry spirit babies. There are no angry souls on the other side saying like, why did mom do this to me? I was ready. She should have had me. I can't believe she did this. There is none of that happening. This is an agreement. And this is a, you know what, mom? It's not the right time. We're ready. I love you. If the chance comes again for me to come through, I will. If it's for you, I will. If it's for somebody else, but that's not something for you to, I guess, I don't say worry about, but there are no upset spirits on the other side when it comes to abortion. They will find their way again, either to you or to someone else, wherever that is needed. And I found that just really comforting. To experience that with that spirit baby communication in that spirit realm. So this leads me into, do they come back and do they find you again? And a lot of people say that. Some women have said in my group, like, I really feel that my son now was here before was my previous miscarriage, and here he is again. And that is also a possibility as well. I find that there's times where I feel like there's three things. If I got this right, if I'm remembering right, correctly. One, they experience that loss. They go back to the other side and they come through you again. The second, they kind of come into your life, they leave your life, and they go back to the spirit realm and choose another option, possibly another option, different set of parents, different set of siblings. So some come back to you, some do not. And then the third thing is that they stay on the other side, that they do not choose to reincarnate into humanly form again for many different reasons. They may be done with that soul evolution for themselves, where they say, you know what, I've experienced what I need to experience, and they are in this form again of baby, and they are usually with passed on loved ones, and it's a beautiful, comforting family presence there on the other side. So those are the three options that three options that I've seen when it comes to that. I'm looking at my notes here, and so I want to talk about twins. We have people that have had twins where one twin either is a diminishing twin, one twin dies at birth. And this comes down to, I really feel this is this birth order of them saying, you know what, I don't want to come through with someone else. I want my own show. I call it, they want their own show, where they just want to be in their own pregnancy, in a separate pregnancy, or coming in after, right? Coming in as a younger child, as opposed to being with that other soul at the same time. I think too, some of those twins, there are twins there to just assist that other twin in making it to this other side. Kind of like a support, saying, hey, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to spend time with you. I will be with you to the end, till you get to be born, until you take your first breath. And then I will stay back, because that is my journey. So I feel that there's helping. Or sometimes that twin could save the other twin's life. If you could have experienced that or heard about that, and certain medical things where they say, hey, if it wasn't for that other twin, they both would have passed away. And so sometimes there is like a giving of life in order to bring through life. So that is also can be, a storyline too in what happens. So that I feel is the case with twins, what I have experienced in seeing twins and how they kind of show up for each other and for their parents. When it comes to showing themselves what they look like, I think again, they show themselves either as a baby or they'll show themselves grown up because they want to show you what they need, what you need to see in order to feel that comfort. And it's hard. This, pregnancy loss is hard and termination is hard. But I want to give you that little bit of comfort today. I want to give you that little bit of comfort knowing that there is a divine plan. There is more to than what we just see. There is just more to this pregnancy and losing this pregnancy. There is so much and so many things being orchestrated for our highest good, our family's highest good, their highest good, their family on the other side, who comes in before and who comes in after. And I think that it's helpful to know. For me, it was comforting to know, and I hope it has comforted you. You can still be in contact with these babies. You can still be in contact if you wish, especially if you are looking to bring in a child again. If you want to get pregnant again. So keeping in touch with them, having them send you signs, and just forming that bond. You will always have that bond with them, right? And I think too, even if they have moved on, say they have chosen another family or you do not get pregnant again, there still is that special link and that special bond. And that they are doing so many things too at the same time. I think these souls are doing more than one thing at a time. And that's how they're able to show themselves to us, but then possibly also live on in another human life. So I hope that you can still try to connect with them. And if you want to bring them in again, to connect with them, or even if you're not looking, that you can still connect with them, still know that they are with you. Even if they have moved on to another family or they're staying on the other side, they are still connected to you and always will be. And so expressing that to them is a great thing to do. Either you can speak it, you can pray it, you can write to them and let them know how much you love them or that you miss them, and feel that love back. Place your hands on your heart and feel that loving presence that is there from spirit on the other side. So thank you for listening today. If you have any other questions about pregnancy loss or termination that I could answer, I would love to do another podcast about this. I hope you have an incredible day, and I'll see you soon.